Well, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a look at a Rapido Trains EMD F40PHM-2. This is the Metra CB&Q Heritage Scheme. So let's see what you get in a box. We'll also be looking briefly at the Rapido Gallery commuter cars. So these cars are available in individuals and 3-packs. So we'll take a quick look at those. If there ends up being a schedule interruption due to limited products later in the spring, early summer, we'll do a full video on these gallery cars too. So let's take a closer look at the F40PHM starting right now. Unboxing is simple. There's a clear case that may or may not come with yours, usually does, and that protects the box from shelf wear. And then you have the box itself. Lid comes off. Inside we have the F40PHM-2 manual. So that is equipped with over 23 pages of information, and also has all the functions listed there. And then we'll go with the exploded parts diagram here and the stickers. You always get the stickers with that. And then inside is the locomotive. There's some foam that kind of braces this plastic blister packaging. Slide that off, pop that open, and there's the locomotive in all of its Metra glory. So we'll take a closer look at those right now, or this right now. Alright, on the nose you see multiple areas of lights and ditch lights. There's MU hoses with a snowplow with windows for the MU hoses, grab irons on the snowplow as well, metal coupler, number boards, horn right above the headlight or emergency light area there. I'm not sure, there's so many lights on this and I'm not a Metra expert. You do have a beacon light there as well, a Sinclair antenna. If we look at the top here, you can see the dual air conditioning units, another antenna with a set of antennas with an antenna stand, dustbin hatch, exhaust. There's also the dynamic brake fan and the radiator fan area there, so you can get a good look at the fan and the see-through fan details on that. Inside there's a cab interior, and you can see starting back on the outside crew access ladders. There's rivet detail, truck detail. There's the fuel tanks, the battery box doors. There's even a chain here on this truck, and that is not a molded chain, that's a free hanging chain there. The US flag on the back, radiator fan grills. Run that Metra stripe up so you can see the CB&Q Heritage Scheme. On the rear, more of the same in terms of detail with separately applied grab irons, the crossover platform. There's a porthole window, and a rear door, rear lighting, sand filler hatches right here. So lots of detail there as well, and more of the same on the other side, including all of this air reservoir detail, I believe that is, unless it's a reservoir for something else. But a little out of my league here with the Metra stuff. Windshield wiper, fine windshield wiper detail as well. And you've got your mirrors mounted on the side of the cab windows. So there is your Metra logo. You can see F40 designator there on the front as well. And the Burlington Route logo on the front, honoring the CB&Q heritage. So that is a 360 of the locomotive. Alright, the locomotive's on the track. The track is powered. As you can see, the lights are already on. F0 controls the headlight, and F1 is bell. Two is horn. 3 is flange squeal, which we'll have to move it to get. Maybe just active with the rest of the sounds, but 3 is listed as flange squeal. 4, HEP into and out of standby. Go back a little more so we're in frame a little better here. F5, same thing. Let's get the startup and shutdown on F8. This should help. There you hear the flange squeal. Brake squeal as well. So F4 is HEP into and out of standby. You hear that prime mover kick up and the HEP sound. H5 is HEP run, into and out of run. Six is the ditch lights on and off. As you can see there, 7 dims the headlights. 8 is the startup and shutdown we talked about. 10's independent brake. 11's rotary beacon. Okay, I see a light there in the headlight housing or the top housing going, and that's showing the rotary beacon right now, it looks like. Alright, so the rotary beacon will only illuminate on this model, as you can see it blinking there, if the other lights associated, like the gyro light, is off. So the rotary beacon turns on with F11 and the gyro light with F13. So F14 is the red warning light. So that's 14. 15's Metra station announcement. Let's listen to that. Sorry, HEP there. Let's do the Metra station announcement again on F15. So the layover system alarm light, they used an engine block heating system that allowed engines to be shut down to save fuel so they don't freeze during winter, basically. If the system failed, this light alerted someone of the problem. So usually only came on when somebody turns on the layover alarm test switch in the cab, or in the case where we hit F16. So I'll hit F16 real quick. So the only issue with the layout system alarm light is I have no idea where it is. I tried researching online. After doing that, I couldn't locate it. I turned the light off, couldn't see anything lighting up. I even went to AI to try to find it, and it said it's not publicly available information. So maybe you guys can comment down below where that light is and help me out. But 17 is dynamic brake. 18 is coupler clank. We can listen to coupler clank. I think everybody knows what dynamic brake sounds like. 19, number boards off, so this does have lit number boards, more visible so at night. 21 is the spitter valve off, 22 is the cab door, and 27 is alarm bell. We'll hit 27 here. For some reason dynamic brake seems to be on alarm bell, unless maybe it's attached when the prime mover's off, then maybe you get alarm bell. So we'll try that real quick. So that's your shutdown sequence. Yep, there's your alarm bell on 27 when the locomotive's turned off. And then 27 again to get that activated. So there's your functions. I'll go ahead and start the prime mover again, and we'll go over some slow speed steps and such. We're going to go ahead and put down the AccuTrack 2 speedometer. We'll roll straight into this. Looks like the locomotive's in there, but it's not hit the first sensor yet, so we'll go ahead and move it at 1 speed step. And that's out of 128 on my NCE power cab. And it looks like we might be in for a long journey here. As you can see, and we'll look over there while this locomotive's moving, it is essentially insanely slow speeds. So 1 out of 128 speed steps wouldn't surprise me if it registers around half a scale mile an hour. So it's crawling pretty well, and it's not really being jerky about it in the process, which means it's got a very nice finely tuned drive. So you have those realistic slow speeds. Because nobody just likes taking off and breaking the neck of all their passengers on their model railroad. Should be about to register, and we did. And just as I suspected, half a scale mile per hour. Getting pretty good at a calibrated eyeball with these speeds after doing so many tests on so many different models. You can go ahead and pick up the speed now at 2. Get it moving a little more. Now we're up to 4 and 5. Still very smooth. Still probably barely 1 scale mile an hour at that speed. And we'll take a look at reverse. First at 1 scale mile, 1 speed step. You really see how smooth it's looking with that contrasting container in the background. That's just 1 speed step there, half a scale mile an hour. And we'll move it up to 5. So this locomotive is just very realistically operating. Alright, since we've covered the F40 series before with Rapido, that's going to wrap it up. This is going to be more of a product demo than a review. But let's move into showing you these Metra cars, which are also really nice. So we have this 3-pack of cars here, but I believe they are available individually too. So I'll pull one out for unboxing just to kind of show you really quickly what they look like. And a couple quick features I do want to save. Most of it for the review though, if we're able to do one later, as we may need content if there's interruptions in shipments due to tariffs. Speaking of tariffs, you know, I've been getting questions about how to support the hobby during this time. Best step is continue pre-ordering. And that comes from Jason Schron himself. He says, continue pre-ordering. That's the best thing you can do to help, because they need that demand when things resume, when they make decisions. And also, you know, I do have a letter online that can be copied and pasted on facebook.com/HO Scale Product Reviews. It may be a few posts down now. There's a letter you can copy and paste to your representative too if you wish. No pressure. I'm just simply responding to people who are asking how can they help. So on the Metra cars, you see that nice dark tint, BNSF logo, the Metra logo, all that underbody detail, truck detail, including the springs, the brake actuation. All of that is very, very nicely done with Rapido. You've got metal couplers on the end, sprung diaphragms, so those will kind of bend a little bit. They're not like, they don't have a lot of play in them, but they have some. There's the car brake there in the diaphragm. And as with a lot of Rapido stuff, let's go ahead and just tip this over to look at the bottom, because there's a lot of underbody detail on these. We'll zoom in. You can see all the conduit, brake lines, bottom of the trucks, even the air hose, MU hose connections running up and over the coupler box and under the coupler. Now the storage boxes, etc., air reservoirs, they just go to no expense. They spare no expense on that. Back to the top real quick. One end of these cars is sometimes used as the head end of the train if they don't have motive power on both ends. So you do have a horn, lights, windshield wipers, more lights below. These are not, I believe, I'll have to see if they're powered, but you can definitely, they don't have sound, and you can put in a sound decoder and put more custom lighting features with that sound decoder on the sound decoder outputs, lighting outputs. See the car number there? It's on a nice number board. Nice door detail. Really nice paint job on this. These are just beautiful cars. So I have the hardest time with angles sometimes, but as you can see, there is lighting on these. They're already lit for one end. So DCC compatible lighting and interior lighting as well. So you can see just a nice prototypical look to that interior lighting also. So that is going to be something that you won't have to do anything with a DCC decoder, but if you want to add sound and you want to control more lights, you can. There's also no flickering on these, so that's nice as well. They roll very smoothly. And you may see that on the end here, it's a little brighter. That's just where the engineer sits if they're facing this direction. So I think they have a clear window versus a tinted window, so they can see what's going on a little better. So that first car was a coach, or I'm sorry, a cab car. Now we're looking at the coaches. Same details as before with the variations that are appropriate for the real thing. So there may be some positioning differences. And let me just make a quick adjustment here on the track. So you see on this one it has BNSF Railway on the side. So that was because it utilizes a name board there in that center section, where the other one doesn't have one on either side. I just had to adjust the wheel because it just slightly popped out of place there. And then we'll look at one more car as well. Now what we have here is another coach. So the way you're going to want to configure this is the cab car is going to want to be on the opposite end of the consist from the locomotive, so that if they're going another direction, they can have that cab car end on that opposite direction. Since we'll be doing a run-by, I'll just do one with the locomotive on the point, because this is really a review about the locomotive. But there's all three cars. Usually these run in consists of 6 or more, so I'll have to pick up some more of these and add them to the fleet. Alright, that's going to wrap up our look at both the HO Scale EMD F40PHM-2 from Rapido and the Metra gallery cars, the coaches, and the cab car. We'll leave you with a run-by. Thanks for watching. I think it's a great, solid addition, especially to those Metra lovers layouts. But we'll see you next time right here on the channel. Take care.